Welcome everyone to The Corner. Big change today. This is something fresh and new in the history of the Way Church. We will never stop innovating and pushing the limits when it comes to our creativity. And what we have done, if you're new to this video, is we have added a person to The Corner. Instead of 2 people, there's 3. And I'm here with Rachel and with Jesse. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Do you know that
That's huge.
When I was in university and when I was in high school, you were both babies? That's how old I am. But despite that significant age gap, I do want to say
There's
publicly
no other difference.
in front of everyone here that I look up to both of you.
Aw.
I admire you. I learn from you. And I'm very grateful for you. And I'm so glad that you both get to be on this video. It's Jesse's first time on The Corner.
It is. This is
Anything
a big
you want
day.
to say to the group about yourself? Personal detail?
I don't have anything off the top of my head, but it is a
Look.
big deal for me to be
I
here.
put you on the spot.
Jesse and I led our youth ministry together for what felt like a long time.
10 years.
10 years?
Longer than the
That felt
church
like
has
10
been
years.
around.
It was 1 year that felt like 10.
And I watched the kind of meals Jesse
Oh,
would make
boy.
for himself.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe this is making it to
An
live
entire
television.
cantaloupe and ground beef on the side.
That's it.
Really? What?
I like to keep it simple, okay? Just ground beef on the plate
Eggs-
and a whole cantaloupe.
Eggs
Cut.
scrambled with berries and oats.
Wow.
I'd like to tell you
breakfast.
something about Rachel.
That's almost too much information. I didn't know this.
Rachel will just crack a can of chickpeas, dump it in a stainless steel bowl, and then just put olive oil and vinegar and salt, and then just eat it.
Which I'm
Then
surprised you have
just
such a hard time with
eat.
because we're both Portuguese and that's what we do.
That's
Jesse.
not what I do.
You have Portuguese heritage?
I'm 100% Portuguese.
Really? Oh, I'm learning so much.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to move us along
Okay.
before this really derails.
Before people
Okay?
tune off.
And I want to have you announce some things that are happening in the life of the church. And so, Jesse, you have something to share.
Yes, I'd love to share. Coming up on April 21st, we have a special event to share with the church, and it's Tyler Staten, a good friend of ours from Bridgetown Church, is going to be leading an event called After Amen, which will be an evening of poetry and prayer, and accompanied by Young Oceans.
That's a band, right?
I think so. It
Yeah.
sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that there's aspects of the Gospel of John in there as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
If
Jason's hosting it.
he is
Yeah.
hosting it. Again, Tuesday, April 21st, 7 to 9 p.m. And it is a ticketed event.
Did you say it was a night of poetry
And prayer.
and prayer?
Poetry and
Poetry
prayer.
and prayer. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay, we have I've got an announcement, and then Rachel has an announcement. I do want to say that one of our values as a small group is that we would serve together, and those small groups do take a break for the summer. Joanna, who leads our children's ministry, has asked us to make small groups aware that they're looking for volunteers for summer camp for the kids. There's a Vancouver summer camp. There's North Vancouver summer camp in the month of August. And though it might not be possible, it would be really fun if small groups or at least some of a small group would serve together at our kids camp. If you can make that happen, it's such a fun time, high energy, crafts, games, leading songs. I don't know what else they do, to be honest, but it's going to be awesome. And so we want to put that in front of you, and we'll give you more information down the road. Last thing.
Yes. We are having baptisms on Easter Sunday, which by the time you're watching this is not that far away. So if you would like to be baptized, I can't think of a more beautiful day in the year to get baptized than on Easter Sunday. That'll be happening in between our morning and evening services on Easter Sunday, 3 p.m. at Kits Beach. And then in North Van, there's baptism services happening on Easter Sunday, right?
during the service.
During the service. Sweet.
Okay.
So that's an invitation for you as well.
Awesome. Well, we're in a series leading up to Easter called The Final Week, where we're looking at scenes from Jesus' last week of his earthly ministry. And we looked at Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. We looked at the Last Supper. And this week we're looking at the denial, Peter's denial of Jesus, okay? And I'm going to read the story for everyone, okay? And then we're going to hear from the two of you. This is it. I'm imagining. Alex is shaking his head at me. Do you know what I was going to say? I'm imagining.
The words on the screen
overlaying this picture. Here it is.
Never been done.
Yeah. Again, what did I say?
Constantly
We're never
innovating.
going to stop
Never
innovating
content.
and pushing the envelope of what is possible.
I was imagining.
I think
Star
Alex has
Wars.
proven it week to week with his edits.
Yeah.
We have done small group
Can't box
videos
them in.
where the text has come up like Star Wars.
Yeah. That's
That's not going to happen this time
no.
because
That's
it's not
new.
appropriate, but
That's
we
not
have
new.
done it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is the story. Gospel according to Luke chapter 22, verse 31. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. But he replied, Lord, I'm ready to go with you to prison and to death. Jesus answered, I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me. I'm going to jump down to verse 54. Jesus is arrested. It says, then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance. And when some there had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, this man was with him. But he denied it. Woman, I don't know him, he said. A little later, someone else saw him and said, you are also one of them. Man, I am not, Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, certainly this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean. Peter replied, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. Very powerful scene. I want you to hit the pause on the video and just discuss with one another what stood out to you. And then when you come back, Rach and Jesse will share just one observation on this story. So hit the pause button now, and I'll bring you back. Okay, everyone, welcome back. Really enjoying having 3 of us on the corner, and I'm excited to hear from both of you. Jesse preached at North Van and Fairview, and Rachel preached at Strathcona. And so I'd love for each of you to share maybe just one observation about the story. And so I think I'm going to start with Jesse.
Yeah, there's a lot to this story, but I think one thing that stood out to me in my preparation is Jesus's reliance on prayer, both for him personally in the story, but also for Peter, and the way that Jesus at the table is telling Peter that he has pleaded in prayer on behalf of Peter, that his faith would not fail. And then in the Garden of Gethsemane, which is kind of smushed between the 2 readings that you read, Chris, Jesus not only exemplifies that the way through a trial is to press into prayer, but he instructs Peter and James and John to pray that they would not fall into temptation. And he says, but the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I just think it's really interesting to ponder the emphasis that Jesus puts on prayer in a time of great pressure for himself, but also for a time of pressure that he knows the disciples will face, but specifically that Peter will face. And so that really struck me and had me thinking.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how throughout this whole series, we've looked at the ways in which Jesus knows things. You know, like when he's going to wash the disciples' feet, he knows he's returning to the Father. when he sits down for the Last Supper. He knows he's going to suffer. Here he knows Peter will betray him. That's the context for him praying for Peter. But he also knows something that's a lot more redemptive and hopeful, where he says in verse 32, I have prayed for you, right? That your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. And so even there, Jesus knows that despite a failing, Peter will return. And when he returns, he's meant to strengthen the brothers. Very, very interesting. Rachel, what's an observation you have?
Yeah, I think a pattern that stood out to me is just over the course of Peter's life and moments that we get to see between Peter and Jesus is kind of what you mentioned, Jesse, this willing spirit, heart full of faith, but yet this weak flesh. And we see in Peter just like bold moments of faith and confession and courage of Jesus saying, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Or it's Peter who steps out from the boat onto the water. Or it's Peter who says, I will follow you to prison, to death. And yet there's always in these moments with Peter this shift that happens. And I think it's not because Peter doesn't care anymore. It's not because Peter has lost faith in Jesus, but it's because what's within him, his willing spirit, can't withhold the pressure that he experiences. And I experience this, and humanity experiences this. It's like we can have intentions and we can have willing spirits and hearts full of faith. But our flesh is weak, and Jesus himself says that. And so I want to trust in God, but I still want to control everything in my life, or I want to pray more, but yet I'm distracted, or I want to live differently, but I fall into these patterns of sin, or I want, like, there's just this tension that exists within every follower of Jesus. And I think the question then is how do we allow, if that's part of our humanity, how do we allow that to lead us to the cross on Friday? And so that's kind of where we landed.
Yeah, it's a good, this story is great preparation going into Good Friday and Easter Sunday, because there might be a temptation to read a story like this and Peter denying Jesus and kind of stand in judgment over Peter. But the reality is, as you were saying, we're all Peter, in that we all have aspirations and desires in our heart. If we're a follower of Jesus, we're like, I want to follow him. And then we find ourselves failing and falling short, and the spirit being willing, but the flesh being weak. And the reality is Good Friday begins where human potential ends. And this story sets us up well by showing us our need for a savior. And so there's a ton to talk about when it comes to this story. We have questions for you. And so we're going to throw to you. Any last words? Not like last words like...
Yeah, I'll never get to do this again.
Yeah, but last words for this video.
No, have a wonderful conversation is what I would say.
Okay.
And I would say the same.
Wow.
Okay. Have a good night.